Hello everyone, my name is Laquan Williams, and in this video I wanted to do a review for the Superman&Lois episode, Season 1, Episode 8 this past week that happened on Monday, I believe. Actually, it was Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. It was on this Tuesday. The Flash wasn't on, and neither was DC Legends of Tomorrow. That was supposed to be on Sunday, and the Flash was also supposed to be on this week, but they were on a one week break. They will be back this upcoming week, which means in a couple days on Sunday there will be a new episode of DC Legends of Tomorrow, also on the CW network, and on the Tuesday the Flash will be back along with Superman and Lois. So in this week's episode, basically more and more evidence and obviously the information behind who John Henry Irons is, who also goes by the name Captain Luthor, his villain slash bad guy name. His real name is obviously John Henry Irons. So basically everybody knows who he is now. Lois Lane's father, who's obviously the war general in the Army, the DOD obviously affiliate, slash obviously employee, very high up ranking in the military and whatnot in the government. She knows who he is. Superman knows who he is. His whole family. They also know about the Morgan Edge's true intentions now, with him trying to create his Kryptonian army of obviously villains with ex-Kryptonite obviously to basically take down the whole entire city of Smallville, and also to take down obviously Superman and anybody who stands in Morgan Edge's way, obviously including the military and the citizens as well. So that's obviously a problem. So he has obviously superpower human bad guys on his payroll, and he's so rich he can afford them. So basically that's what happened this week. Everybody knows about Morgan Edge's true intentions and what he's trying to do. We also learned that Lois Lane's dad obviously had a bunch of kryptonite-style weapons that they were experimenting with to hurt Superman, that they're still keeping in development down in a secret base, obviously in their army room, secret, and obviously in their army base, obviously in a secret room. And obviously, unfortunately, Superman did figure that out and found out about it, because one of those weapons was used on him. It was like a gas-powered type of gun, which he got hit with, and obviously all the green smoke that was flying around him and he got hit with which obviously affected him, was kryptonite. So, and it was obviously meant to hurt his respiratory system, which is obviously his lungs, his breathing apparatus as well, to hurt him. So he knows all about this and these experiments, because there's obviously still an order slash I guess you can say it's kind of a kill order, but I guess you can say it's like basically a fail-safe, for that Lois Lane's dad has put in place in order to make sure that if Superman goes rogue at any time, he can use any of these weapons against him, obviously the military as well. So that's what's happening. There was a Kryptonian who was obviously bad, one of the probably a part of well, actually he was a part of, probably most likely Morgan Edge's team. He was trying to help John Henry Irons escape, but also he wanted to fight Superman. But he said he was actually stronger than him. He studied all his moves, but he actually didn't really use any of what he said he learned or knew. He just attacked him with the kryptonite style prototype weapons that the military has, because he was undercover, obviously posing as a military personnel, but they didn't know for years that this guy was obviously a Kryptonian. So that's what happened. Superman ended up killing him, and they in the end they actually let Captain Luthor, aka John Henry Irons, go. Lois Lane learned that she was obviously his wife in another obviously Earth slash timeline, so she figured that out, and that the daughter that he had with her was named after her grandmother. And that's what we obviously also learned. The van slash RV that Captain Luthor had obviously in his possession was ramsacked and looked through by obviously Jonathan Kent, who was the older son of Superman and obviously Lois, and she obviously also was on there with him for the first time. They looked through his whole entire ordeal. They didn't find his weapons, but they found his secret command base, computers and screens and whatnot, and all his pictures of his military wars and all the stuff that he's done in his past life and accomplishments. And they figured out and they found out and they know about him and his daughter obviously in another Earth slash timeline where Lois Lane was obviously with him. They were married and had a daughter. Obviously she was a teenager. She figured that out and found out about that. So that's basically what's been happening. We'll see. And as far as the Morgan Edge situation, he's not aware that everybody's on to him, but he knows obviously Superman is, and obviously Lois Lane as well. So we'll see what happens with that. Apparently, the whole ordeal is that Captain Luthor told Superman that we're not friends or whatnot, but Superman let him know that even though that's not the case, that us being allies is obviously more important than obviously our differences, and obviously them fighting and nearly killing each other, and Captain Luthor obviously nearly killing Superman. He said that we have to obviously team up together to help take down Morgan Edge. So they actually allowed him to leave in his RV and just sail off into the sunset. But he'll obviously be back, obviously, because he said that Morgan Edge needs to be taken out, and he's going to help with that. But obviously he wants Superman gone too, even though this Superman on this timeline in Earth 1 did not kill his wife Lois Lane, who obviously he was with at the time. Lois Lane is with this Superman, this obviously timeline in our present day, obviously Earth, which is obviously on the show Earth 1, obviously, after the Arrow and the Green Arrow and the Arrowverse had their Flashpoint, obviously, ordeal, where Barry Allen messed up the timeline, obviously, and whatnot, and then obviously what happened on Crisis on Infinite Earths when they all teamed up together led to basically all their Earths combining, so they're all obviously all in close proximity to each other with the cities and whatnot now, whereas earlier years ago they were distant from each other. Now with the team ups and whatnot, and more team ups happening with the Flash and DC Legends and Black Lightning characters coming on each other's shows and whatnot for team ups, with crossovers that happening this upcoming November with the Flash comes back on. It's also with the other shows, DC Legends and Batwoman and also Stargirl. They're going to have them cross over on each other's shows, so that's what's going to happen. So that's basically what we've seen. Right here on a TV line, they explained what happened this week, obviously as a review. They posted this on the 1st, when the episode happened a couple days ago. So this is a review of it. This article on comicbookresources.com, it says Superman and Lois, Lana just became Morgan Edge's secret weapon, and it may kill people. She doesn't know that she's obviously being used as Morgan Edge's recruitment personnel or slash top level employee to actually bring in people to experiment on with his Weapon X, with his X Kryptonite. Weapon X is obviously Logan's daughter, obviously, who was a Wolverine in Marvel. That's a different story. So, but I made a mistake. That's a mistake. But basically, obviously, the X Kryptonite. So basically, Lana doesn't know that she's being used as Morgan Edge's, obviously, top, obviously, like I said, employee to recruit people to experiment on. She thinks that these people are she's helping her getting loans for their businesses, and they're actually getting good jobs. But what she doesn't know is that they're being experimented on with the X Kryptonite to build a Morgan Edge's obviously army, and these are regular people. They don't even know what's happening to them, obviously, and that's what's obviously happened on the show and what's been taking place. And it basically obviously explains obviously how she thinks that she's getting a job promotion, but she's actually being used as the basically the middleman to take everybody to obviously Morgan Edge and basically take them lead them into the slaughterhouse. Obviously, they don't know about it. So that's what's basically been happening on the show. She doesn't know about that. Actually, well, she doesn't know the whole ordeal. She knows us enough, because obviously Lois Lane told her, but she doesn't know everything obviously yet. But she's gonna learn more. She's gonna learn more obviously as the show progresses. Obviously towards the end of this first season, it was renewed for a second season like about a month and a half, almost 2 months ago. So that's basically what happened. That's basically it. Yeah, this was very interesting. It was cool to obviously see what obviously has been happening with this whole ordeal with the X Kryptonite, and obviously it was very interesting to see that obviously all the experimental weapons that they had for Superman with the X Kryptonite, and obviously Lois Lane's moment where she had the therapy session with her doctor explaining everything that's been happening to herself and her family, and as a result of that, she's obviously not dealing with everything very well. But she's trying to understand if she was like more at fault than she should be. But she's saying that obviously the whole situation with John Henry Irons is not her fault, obviously, because obviously in another timeline she was with him in another life / Earth, obviously, but she's not the same person, obviously, and she was obviously killed by that Superman on that Earth with other Kryptonians destroying their planet, obviously. But we obviously learned about that and how Captain Luthor left his daughter behind to come to this Earth in another timeline in order to take down the current Superman, obviously, who's married to Lois Lane in this life. So it was obviously very crazy to see all this, but it was fun. It was great. This week's episode was it was cool. I liked it. I would say probably I gave it like a 5.5. Last week's was about like a 6. The last week's was a little bit better. I liked the I guess they actually Superman didn't fight Luthor last week, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, he did. Then he got arrested, if I'm not mistaken. This week was the interrogation. Yeah, but it was cool. It was nice. It was interesting to see Superman randomly, obviously, get into a fight with that random Kryptonian because you didn't know that was going to happen. So that just randomly popped up out of nowhere. But like I said, the show has been doing pretty good. It's been obviously slowly progressing. They unfortunately had to take about 4 weeks off because of COVID-19. Basically, production issues and a health scare with some production crew members, so they took 4 weeks off. So when the show came back, it's been 2 weeks now since then. Ratings were a little bit down, obviously, because of that, because people obviously weren't watching the show, so you had to get some people back into watching it regularly. And while that happened, the time slot was being taken over by a Super Girl, which is obviously in its last season, because the show is ending. The CW TV network has that show about to be gone. Black Lightning just ended last week with its final episode. The show has been canceled, and it ended with 4 seasons, and the last season had 13, which was just last week. I did a video review on that as well, and that's basically it. So that's all I have to say about this in regards to Superman and Lois Lane. The season 1, they're currently in. It's a season 1, episode 8 review. Let me know what you have to think about it, obviously. And if you've been watching the show, if you haven't, or if you weren't interested, tell me why you haven't been, obviously. And do you like it? What do you think other shows and crossovers can potentially happen? And how do you feel about the current Arrowverse shows, and obviously the CW network, obviously with a lot of changes that have been happening? And what do you think about the whole entire ordeal with the crossovers that will be happening starting in November with the Flash and other characters from the Arrowverse coming on the Flash show, and obviously the Legends of Tomorrow, and also Batwoman and Stargirl. So that's what we're gonna see with that. Obviously, that's basically all I have to say about this the subject matter, obviously, the topic of Superman and Lois, season 1, episode 8, the review. So that's all I have to say about this. Again, thank you all for watching, and we'll see what happens, obviously, with other characters coming on the show as far as the season finale, as far as any surprises, if Supergirl will make an appearance on the show, if John Cryer will be on the show from Supergirl and crossover and obviously come into this show and be Lex Luthor on here, which he still probably will be because he's always going to be, because he's tied to this, obviously. And that's basically it. And we'll see what happens, obviously, very soon. I think it's maybe 15 or 16 episodes for the season finale. So I think it's probably 15 or 16 it was in total. So we'll see what happens with that. Again, thank you for watching. That's all I have to say about this. Bye. Thank you.